Alright, hey, what's up YouTube? Little Bucket here, coming at you again from Michigan. Today, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about feminism, which I'm really excited to be talking about, even though I've been working on this video for like 3 hours and deleting a bunch of stuff and redoing it. So, if you're watching now, this is the final product that I popped out. As I said, I've been working on this video for multiple hours now. First I was going to make it all one video, then I was just going to scrap it and do a completely different video, but I was like, no, I want to talk about this. This is why I made my YouTube channel, so we're just going with it. I'm just going to have to do it in parts. So today, we're just going to be talking about what is feminism. So it's not really so much why am I a feminist yet, but we're going to get there. Because before we can even dive into why I'm a feminist, I think that we need to talk about what is feminism so we can know why I'm a feminist. So, this is what feminism is. So, there's been some debate whether or not you can use dictionary definitions for things like this because it's just a generic definition. It doesn't go into depth about like what the movement stands for or anything, but I'm going to be reading these definitions just to give you like at surface what feminism is. So I'm going to be giving you the Oxford Dictionary definition and the Merriam-Webster's definition. So we're going to start with the Oxford Dictionary definition, and that is, feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the ground of equality of the sexes. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. On that definition, I don't get why you wouldn't want to be a feminist. But we're just talking about the definitions. We're not talking about the stigmatism around feminism. We're just talking about the dictionary definitions. So, then we go over to Merriam-Webster's, and she has two definitions. First one is the theory of the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes, but then their second definition is the organized activity on behalf of women's rights and interests. So the reason why I want to read both those definitions is because I think that the second part of Merriam-Webster is pretty important in regards to comparing feminism to egalitarianism. And the reason why I want to do that is because I hear a lot when talking about feminism to some people, they'll be like, well, I just identify as an egalitarian, and why wouldn't you? Why do you have to like go ahead and have your own little separate feminist thing? So before we get into that, I'm going to read you the definition of egalitarianism. So the definition of egalitarianism, we're just going to use Merriam-Webster. They have two again, because Merriam-Webster likes to have two definitions. So the first one is a belief in human equality, especially with respect to social, political, and economic affairs. Reasonable. The second definition is a social philosophy advocating the removal of inequalities among people. So it's like, yeah, that definition is super similar to what the definition of feminism is, except for feminism is specifically focusing on women. Some people will think that that's unfair, or why do you need a whole movement specifically focused on your problems? My thought is, why don't we need a whole movement focusing on our problems? Yeah, egalitarianism is great. It's this broad umbrella wanting to make everybody equal, but feminism specifically hits on women's issues and gender issues. I don't think that there's anything wrong with having the big umbrella of egalitarianism and breaking it down into smaller groups. So think of egalitarianism like a grocery store. The grocery store is where you go to get groceries, hence it being a grocery store. And in said grocery store, you have aisles where you can find certain items. And it's organized into different categories, even though overall it is a grocery store. There are specific aisles where you can find specific groceries. Just as when you look at egalitarianism, it's this big broad thing that wants to cover all social injustices and make sure everybody's equal. But for purposes of organization, we have separate groups. So we have the aisle of feminism, we have the aisle of Black Lives Matter, etc. So in these aisles, much like the grocery store, in these aisles of social justice movements, we have the feminist aisle, and in that aisle it addresses specific issues regarding women and gender and sex. If you imagine if you went to a grocery store and there were no aisles, there was just groceries all over the place. You had no idea where to find the stuff that you are looking for at the grocery store. So without these subcategories of egalitarianism like feminism and Black Lives Matter, there is no organization, there is no bringing people together of similar backgrounds who have experienced these issues and understand things that other people might not understand who haven't experienced these issues firsthand. So the reason why these little groups are so important is because it puts focus and it puts organization. Not one person or one idea cannot do it all. We need teamwork, we need multiple groups going after different things. You can also look at the way the United States government is set up. The president isn't doing everything. There's the different branches there, and even in the branches there's multiple people working in that, and it goes smaller and smaller and smaller. So there's nothing wrong with breaking up the big picture into smaller pictures and working on it from the inside out. You can't just tackle a big thing like that. You need to work at it little by little. And so it puts focus on specific issues, it puts in some organization, and without this organization and without these focuses, they aren't done as quickly and they aren't done as efficiently. And there's nothing wrong with all of these groups supporting each other. They're all intertwined in the big egalitarianism umbrella, but these different groups have different problems. However, they are very similar problems, and that does not need to say that being a feminist you shouldn't care about Black Lives Matter, or being Black Lives Matter you shouldn't care about feminism. They're all intertwined, and so that's where intersectionality comes in, and that's a whole nother video. But all these groups need to work together in the big egalitarianist bubble umbrella, but there's nothing wrong with having separate names for these separate groups that focus on their specific issues. So to keep it short and simple and to the point, feminism to me is just making sure that everybody is equal on the basis of their sex and their gender, and no one is discriminated against, with a concentration on focusing on issues that women face. That being said, there are issues that men have. Feminism is all about getting rid of all of those gendered rules that society has constructed. But in general, there is male privilege in society. That's also a whole nother video, so we're not going to get into that. But feminism, it's called feminism because its focus is on women issues, because there are more laws and societal constructs that hurt and oppress women than there are that hurt and oppress men. And it's nothing to feel ashamed about if you're a man. That's just the way society is. No one's trying to make you feel guilty, but we just need to work together to change the way our society is and change the laws and change the constructs, and that's what feminism is all about. So in conclusion, reason number one why I'm a feminist is because I support the idea of equality across sexes and genders. If you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. You should be treated the same. No one gender or one sex is better than the other, with specifically fighting to end the systematic oppression that our society perpetuates, keeping women down, which we will get into details on that further in the future videos. So I hope this short video kind of explained what feminism is. If you have any questions, I can always readdress it. Just drop your questions down in the comments. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share to your friends. And I'm just trying to speed this up because I'm really hungry and I need to eat some food. So like, comment, subscribe below, share to your friends, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I just wanted to remind you guys not to give up. Don't stop trying to fight for what you guys believe is right. Nothing in this world can change unless people are there trying to change it. So be the change that you wish that you could see in the world, and just keep fighting for what you believe in, because somebody's got to do it.